Hey, what is up everyone, Omogonix here and welcome back to a brand new Godot tutorial here on the channel where today I'm actually going to be teaching you guys how to have videos playing on a TV in your game. So as you can see here, I've got a basic TV set up. It's just made up of two cubes and then a quad mesh. I do recommend that for your TV screen. If you want to make your TV in Blender, that's totally fine. I just made my TV, my basic TV here in Godot, using free mesh instances, basically. Two being cubes and then one being quad mesh. But if you want to make yours in Blender, that's totally fine. Just make sure that for your TV screen, that it's a quad mesh. And the reason as to why is because the quad mesh will be what's used to play our video. So yeah. So there is going to be, of course, one thing we will need before getting started with this tutorial, and that is, of course, a video to play. Now, as you can see here, I've got a folder in my file system tab called videos, and it contains a video called videointro.ogv. And you might be thinking, why are you using a video format called .ogv? Can't you just use MP4? And the answer is no. Godot actually uses a video format called OGG Fiora. So when you are making videos for your Godot games, here's what I recommend you do. Here's what I do. So what I do is I make my video, and then I render it as an MP4, and then I go online and I find an OGG Fiora converter, so I search up something like MP4 to OGG Fiora, and then I find a converter, and then I convert the video that way. So yeah, I do recommend that you guys do that if you can't just naturally export to OGG Fiora. Otherwise, if your video editing program allows you to actually just straight up export to OGG Fiora, I do recommend you do that. So yeah. So anyways, once you have your video in your Godot file system, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you have your scene set up. So what I've got here is I've got my basic scene, it's just a TV, and then I've also got a camera 3D here as well. And the reason as to why we have this is so then we can actually, when we decide to test out our project, we then have the camera 3D, which is then displaying our game's view, and we can actually see our TV playing the video. So yeah. Alright, so here's what we're going to do first off. First off, we're going to actually start off by creating a child node. We're going to add a child node to our TV here, and it's going to be a sub viewport. So sub viewport, so for those of you who don't know how Godot works with viewports, basically everything that you see on your screen is controlled by the main viewport, right? So when you are playing your game, everything you see is displayed on your game's main viewport. A sub-viewport is basically like a secondary viewport. And you know how in Unity, right, if you've used Unity before, how a certain way to stop first-person weapons and items from clipping through walls is what you do is you would have like a secondary camera, which then just displays your player's items on a particular layer with that camera, right? Well, sub-viewports work very similar to that because in Godot you can't actually have two cameras active at once. How it works is if you want to have two cameras active at once, you need to actually have a sub-viewport because then you can actually add another camera as a child of that sub-viewport and then you can view more stuff using multiple cameras. So yeah, that's how sub-viewports work in Godot. So what we're going to do here is now that we have our sub-viewport, you can see that we have a bunch of settings here. So for my size, I'm going to set the video size to something like, I think you would want to set it to something like your viewport size or something like that. I'm going to set mine to 1280 by 720 just to start off here. But just to be safe, I will actually check what my Godot project's viewport size is actually set to. So let me try find that. So my current viewport width and height is currently set to 1152 by 648. So just to be safe, I guess set this size depending on what your actual viewport is. So I'm going to set this to 1152 by 648. And yeah, you can set this to whatever size you want to, of course, but just to be safe, I'm setting this to my viewport size. So now there's not really much else that we need to change here with our sub viewport at the moment. There is a bunch of settings to play around with here if you want to check them out, and if you are interested, of course. So if you're curious, you can check around with all this. But anyways, let's move on. So what we need to do now is we are going to then add a camera 3D into the scene. and we're going to set it as current. There we go. So this is going to be for our sub viewport. And then next up, what we're going to do is we're then going to have a video stream player. And this is going to be for our video. So you want to make this a child of your sub viewport. And what we're going to do is here, with your video stream player selected in the inspector, where it says stream empty, you want to go quick load and then select your video. And then boom, now your video will be here. Alrighty, so now that we have our video stream player in the scene, now what we need to do is we now need to add a new material to our TV screen here. So what we're going to do is we are going to go to Geometry, Material Override, and we're going to go New Standard Material 3D. And what we're going to do with this is we're going to go into here, and basically where it says Albedo, you want to go to where it says Texture, and then you want to put New Viewport Texture. Now, as you can see here, we actually get a warning which says can't create a viewport texture on this resource because it's not set as local to the scene. Please switch on the local to scene property on it. So here's what we need to do now. So what we need to do is we need to scroll down here, go resource, and then where it says local to scene, you then want to turn this on, and then boom. Alrighty, so now if we actually try set a new viewport texture again, as you can see, it works. And you'll know it works is if it does this pink texture thing here. So now what we're going to do is we're going to then go assign a viewport. So you want to go assign this sub viewport here. And as you can see, now our sub viewport has actually been assigned here. So to check if this works, what I'm going to do quickly is I'm going to actually add a child to this sub viewport. It's going to be a color rect, and as you can actually see here, now our color rect is actually displaying on our sub viewport. So it's not displaying here, but it is displaying on our sub viewport. And also, by the way, I know that I said before to add a camera to your sub viewport, but I think when you're working with UI stuff, such as a video stream player or texture rects or anything like that, right, or a color rect as you can see here, I don't actually think you need a camera for this sub viewport. You can have one if you want to, but I don't actually think it is actually needed, since we are dealing with mainly just UI stuff here. Like if you notice you have issues without using a camera turned on in your sub viewport, then, you know, set it to current. But right now, as you can see here, the color rect that we just put in, it's working currently without the camera 3D of the sub viewport being on, so I don't even think we will need this camera 3D on, so yeah. So anyways, now that we know that this sub viewport works, and we have our video stream player in, I think it's time to check out and see how it all goes, because now it should all be ready. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set autoplay on the video, and now what we're going to do is we're going to press play, and fingers crossed that it all works out, and that there's nothing that I've forgotten. Alright, so I'm going to select this as my current scene. Oh, and it's all black, and there's a reason for that. So I actually forgot to set a lighting in the scene, so that's something which I'm going to do quickly. Hold on. We're going to go add an environment to the scene, and then I'm going to add a directional light to the scene, because we do need some lighting here. Alright, so as I'm recording this part of the video, I've already finished off recording the video, and I was actually just editing it before, but then I just remembered something. So if you ever notice that in your game, your TV screen looks a little dark when it's playing the video, what you might need to do is, so let's select your screen, go to the material, and in the shading, set it to unshaded. And basically what this will do is this will make sure that your TV screen isn't affected by the lighting. So even when it's dark in your scene, your TV screen will still be all bright and you can see what's on your TV still. So yeah. So that's why it's good to set that. And as you can see here, after I've set the unshaded shading, it actually does look a lot brighter now. So yeah. Alrighty, so what I've just done is I've just set some lighting in the scene because everything was completely black before when I just played the game. Now that we've got some lighting, let's now check it out. And boom, as you can see, the video is now playing on the TV. So yeah guys, that there is how you play videos on TVs in Godot. If you want to do this with just a normal UI and you don't want to play a video on the TV but just on the player's regular whole screen, then all you need to do for that is just create a UI scene, and then, you know, just add a video stream player like we did before, and then boom, you're good to go. So yeah. So anyways guys, that there is how you set videos to play on TVs in Godot. If you did enjoy this tutorial and you want more stuff like this, be sure to like, comment and subscribe for more. And yeah, so hopefully you can all hear me right now. The video's a bit loud right now, so I don't know if you can all hear me pretty well. You probably can, but yeah. Anyways, I'll see you all next time. Thank you all for watching, and bye-bye.